whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin in Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. This is the Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen, for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the book that is coming to you soon this fall, on this spring, actually, on Amazon, or winter, as we say now. You all hit that like, share, and button on this page here. Hit that like button to get more updates on when the book will be released, and we'll manage also when our Instagram page is created. We're working on that currently, ladies and gentlemen. So the book will be released soon. You want to get that. You would want to learn more, especially about this. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's Sundays. It is Random Topic Sundays only on channel GBoo 2786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe, ladies and gentlemen. We will begin with the following comments, including but not limited to Joe Rogan issues an apology for using the N-word and also making a racist Planet of the Apes analogy regarding black people. Yeah, right. We also will be discussing ESPN Negro says that both sides must learn from each other concerning Brian Flores' discrimination lawsuit against the NFL. And of course, one of my favorite topics, last but not least, Nicole versus Holly. You'll figure that out in a few. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen, on channel GBoo 2786. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. We like to pay some dues first. Of course, I need you to go to our website, nonniescreoleblends.com, and check out and buy some of our good old seasoning, tried and chicken, meat, or fish. Nonnies goes great with every dish. And you go right here to this icon. I'm pulling up here where it says shop and where it says continue shopping. You click on that and you add to your cart what type your seasoning. We only have one right now, but it is a great seasoning, ladies and gentlemen. You will love it. You will enjoy it. So please be sure to support the family. Also, you can check out and download Video Soul, which is available on Amazon Play as well as iTunes. We also have the Apple Store and also available through Spotify, as is our major theme song on iTunes, Spotify, and Apple. Got to get on up. I prefer if you would go to iTunes Store, ladies and gentlemen, and buy it instead of streaming it on Spotify. And there's a reason why I'm not showing it on Spotify, and I'll get to that in a second. So in our first topic, you'll see. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. Ladies and gentlemen, again, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll get started in a second. So sit back, relax, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick little break. So right now, I need you all to get out of your seat and get on up.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get all up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get all up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Yeah, gotta get on. Come on, baby, gotta get on. Baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel G Boot 2786. If you're watching on the backup channel, Gavin Richard on YouTube, or on we have Periscope, Gavin Rich 2786, or Facebook, Gavin Richard. I thank you. Hope you are blessed and doing safe. It's hard to believe the weekend is almost over, and tomorrow is will be another day for you, but it'll be another day for me, just making another age. So tomorrow is my 36th birthday. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be working. Like always, everybody has something to do. So we'll go ahead and just work. And that's about it. It's another day. My brother, I'm big on my holidays and stuff, but as I've gotten older, I don't know about y'all, but birthdays, they aren't the same, kind of. And just changing in with the time, not a sign of getting older, or just the fact you got bills, fuck, changes stuff. It has a different perspective when people give you things that's nice and so forth, but when you're paying for it and buying stuff and you're busy trying to maintain life, it just changes. But nevertheless, I'm happy for this 36 revolutions around the sun. So let's go ahead and get started, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Danielle, Bossa Queenie, all of you that are in the chat. We're going to go ahead. Since Kid Gravity already said it, I guess I can start with it. Joe Rogan issues an apology for, and that's in air quotes, for using the N-word. The popular podcast host, comedian, and MMA commentator has been under hot fire the last couple of weeks in regards to what they call COVID misinformation. Neil Young, along with Joni Mitchell and sister India Arie, have all sought to remove their music from the platform, from Spotify in general. And Joe Rogan, of course, hosts arguably the most popular podcast on Spotify, as he was offered or paid $100 million by Spotify for them to keep and produce his podcast. Now, earlier on yesterday or the day before, there was a video going around that's on Twitter of a compilation of Joe Rogan, different circumstances and situations, saying the word nigger. Now, I'm going to play that for you with a disclaimer that if you don't like this word, you don't like it being heard, especially from someone who's white, you can turn away if you choose to. But we're going to go ahead and play it now. I'm going to say this, and this is not me defending Joe Rogan. I wanted to hear and see it for myself because I saw it circulating. Apparently, India Arie had even shared it on IG. Now, let me play the video, and I'm going to comment about India Arie in a minute.
You know, the nigger thing. Yeah, saying the word nigger. I already said nigger. He is just like nigger.
Saying nigger. She's calling you a nigger. It's like this boy that he's a nigger and starts calling them niggers. Word nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially like the word nigger. That's our nigger. About niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And there are niggers. Start saying nigger. Allowed to use the word nigger. Out the word nigger. See nigger. Word nigger. Say nigger and you couldn't say nigger. Most nigger. Nigger.
You know,
The nigger thing.
yeah,
Saying the word nigger.
I already said nigger. He is just like nigger.
Saying nigger.
She's calling you a nigger. It's like this boy.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop that. Now, I wanted to see this for myself because I know that first off, just chopping up a video like that doesn't really show the context of what he's saying. Although, yes, anytime a white man is using the word nigger, it's fighting time. Generally speaking, it's fighting time. That's for them fighting words. But I also know there is a context to, I don't know if he was quoting someone or if he was if he was quoting someone, if he, what context he was using it, if he was referring to something. I was trying to hear that. But this next video did it for me. Now, this did it for me.
And the guy goes, app. And it says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I goes, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door and there was no white people. App. And it says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I goes, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door and there was no white people.
Dad's black, mom's white. Standard issue, pretty much.
Powerful combination genetic wise, right? You get the body of the black man and then you get the mind of the white man all together in some strange combination. That doesn't, by the way, mean that black people don't have brains. It's a different brain.
Right.
Don't get me.
We got different brains. Okay.
So it took him forever to teach this dog this? Is this the idea? That's why we're watching this over and over again? Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
Zikayo.
Oh wow.
Oh, boy.
Zikayo.
That's adorable.
It is very cute that he taught the dog to do that.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's it.
Man, that
Okay.
sucks that he's getting.
It's a classic shit post video.
Yeah.
It's like these guys, this is the whole Pepe the Frog thing. You can take it down. This is the whole, it's all the same shit. It's a bunch of people that are having fun saying shit that's totally inappropriate. This is what it is. That's what that is. That's the same thing. And the people that think that like anybody who would do that is a Nazi, you're not correct. That's not true. I guarantee you that guy's not a Nazi. I think. I don't know. I'm assuming he's not a Nazi. I'm assuming he's a shit poster. He's a guy who's trying to be funny.
100%. That's
Yeah.
just ignorance.
Yeah, and that funniness is funny to them. See, here's the thing. You might not like it. You might think it's horribly inoffensive, but here's the thing. No Jews got gassed during the making of that video. And the worst thing it did is get racists to laugh. The best thing it did is get people to talk about what's appropriate. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not good. I mean, I don't like it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't tell people, hey, this is the most awesome video ever. Come watch it. But to put that guy, not only to put him on trial,
Okay, so I'm gonna play his apology and his apology, but it's a bullshit apology for a second. But let me just say this too about India Ari, because I honestly can't, and I said this back on Thursday. I thought that the reason she wanted to pull from Spotify, she said, was because of the misinformation that is being shared by or claiming misinformation on Joe Rogan's podcast. Now, I don't listen to Joe Rogan's Experience. I have never listened to it. I may have seen a few clips from some interviews he's had. All the podcast is, as you know, is a radio program with that's not censored. Well, shouldn't be censored. And I do not support censorship either, even though I hate the words that are said. I don't like what he says. But the simple thing to do, and yes, the simple thing could be to just go ahead and not listen to your Joe Rogan, do not support him. Personally, I don't see Spotify censoring him. I don't see Spotify taking him down, especially if they've already spent $100 million last year purchasing his podcast. And there's probably a contractual clause, as Joe Rogan had his lawyers draw up, where if he did had to lose his account with Spotify or his podcast, they would have to pay him a handsome amount of money, probably half of what they already owe him. I don't know. Now, here's his half-ass apology here. But India Ari is mad about the money, right? It's more about the money that she's not getting as an artist. And I did crack some jokes on her but I was being real. I don't listen to India like talking about it. I can't think of a hit song she has had recently. Now, that's not an insult to her as a woman. She, as a sister, she's got over 963,000 followers. So she has people that who support her and who listen to her. She has been in the music business for over 20 something years or better. I don't know her, well over 20 years or better. I have never known her to actually get into any scandals or altercations. No, they're not going to get rid of Joe Rogan's ass, but that's why I don't listen to it. But the thing that got me, of course, was the Planet of the Apes remark. So let's go ahead and play this.
clips. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but for a long time, when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it in that manner. I never used it to be racist because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly have fucked up.
So that's what he had to say. Now, your Professor Black Truth, and I know that Jason Black, I was on Jason Black's show last night listening in, and he has actually gone in on Joe Rogan lots of times. I've seen Willie D. He's had black artists like Willie D on the show. I believe he said Chuck D from Public Enemy and so forth. Now, this is what Joe Rogan, I think it's the same video, I'm not sure, but This is what Professor Blacktrue went in, and you can see here he's going at it with these people who are supporting.
I was just saying, there's a lot of. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure fucking sounded like that. And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying, there's a lot of black people there. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes. I was just saying, there's a lot of black people there. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes. I was just saying, there's a lot of black people there. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes.
See how he contradicted himself. So then we got. So this is the actual audio of the Planet of the Apes. So this is the 1 minute clip. I showed you a 29-second clip. So
it was okay. I go, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh yeah, we can't go to there. So I go, you got to go to one where there's Planet of the Apes, man. We're going to go see Planet of the Apes. So I look on the iPhone app and it says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I go, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door and there was no white people. There was no white people. And I was trying to make the story entertaining. And I said, we got out and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes. We can't go to there. So I go, you got to go to one where there's Planet of the Apes, man. We're going to go see Planet of the Apes. So I look on the iPhone app and it says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I go, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to go see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door and there was no white people. There was no white people. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure fucking sounded like that. And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying, there's a lot of black people there.
Bruh. And you look at the people who are defending Rogan, you know, he appeals to right-wing conservatives. You know, you can look at the right-wingers that are on there, the people who are saying this. I don't support censorship either, Bernard. I don't support it, but fuck him. No, I don't support censorship. He has a right to say what he wants to say, but guess what? I don't have to listen to it. This is what they think of us. And, you know, I've seen Joe Rogan hanging out with Dave Chappelle, praising Dave Chappelle, praising Chris Rock, praising these black comedians. Let me just say this, because I saw him on an episode of the Chappelle Show. He was on it twice. Seen him on a couple of episodes. I wonder what those brothers, those black comedians have to say about this when they see this. Dave is probably not even paying him no mind, but I'm sure, you know, you look at stuff like this, it's not a shock. It's not a shock that he's saying it. It's not an accident. He's coming out now mail-splaining what he said. There's nothing he can say. Stand by what you said like a man. You called black people apes. If you're not truly sorry, then don't issue an apology. And no, they're not going to cancel. Look, they're not going to cancel Joe Rogan.
You know,
The nigger thing.
yes.
Saying the word nigger.
I
They're
said
not going to
nigger.
cancel Joe Rogan. I don't care how Spotify would lose a lot of customers. And just with the indie, my favorite India Irie song, I'll admit, is Video. I'm not the average girl on the video, ain't built like a supermodel, but queen. Yeah, I like that. I'm not knocking her. No, I'm not listening to Nazi propaganda. But let me say this. It is important. Let me just say, no, Bernard, because we got rednecks out here I don't know if anybody's familiar from Louisiana, but we have WWL radio, 870. And if you're from New Orleans, if you're from Louisiana, you know that's the redneck that's the redneck capital radio station. I listen to it often to get information. And it's important to know what your enemy is thinking. It's the number one talk radio station in New Orleans, I believe. Then we have another black radio station like WBOK, which you can listen to. But WWL is where the conservatives go to. So I listen to them to get as much information as I can. And sometimes it is good that we have this stuff because it always comes back. We know where they're standing. We're not fooled because you have some people who have hurt feelings about what he says. I'm not hurt. You can't rely on people, too many people. Now I'm just going to play this last clip. This is from NBC News. They gave some information about this copyright disclaimer. This is fair use on Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976.
Spotify podcasting giant Joe Rogan apologizing for his repeated use of the N-word.
The most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly.
Rogan sharing his apology just as Spotify reportedly pulled dozens of past podcast episodes from its platform. NBC News reached out to Spotify for comment, but has yet to hear back. In recent days, a compilation of Rogan clips edited together to show the podcast host repeatedly using the N-word has been circulating on social media, shared notably by Grammy Award-winning artist Inya Ari, who wrote on Instagram, "I have decided to pull my music and podcast from Spotify.
I find Joe Rogan problematic for reasons other than his COVID interviews. For me, it's also his language around race." Last week, it was Neil Young and Joni Mitchell removing their music from Spotify over Rogan's comments about COVID and their claims that he spread misinformation. Rogan has since said he's not trying to spread misinformation and would bring more balance to his show in the future. Rogan says it's been years since he used a racial slur and is now apologizing for saying it.
I know that to most people, there is no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now.
It now remains to be seen if the apology will be enough. Guad Venegas, NBC News.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.
Get your ass off here, Lester Holt. Nah. Yeah. Let me just say this, and shout out to my sister, Nicole. I guess I could talk about her next. But Nicole, if she's watching, she put this up because you heard they mentioned Joni Mitchell. This is a picture of Joni Mitchell in 1976 dressed up at a Halloween party. Look at this. Dressed as a pimp. Now I don't even listen to Joni Mitchell. I honestly couldn't tell you who the hell Joni Mitchell was, but Nicole had that up there, and I thought that was interesting. That she's criticizing Joe Rogan, although she's talking about Joe Rogan from the standpoint of the uh, misinformation on COVID-19. That's what she's claiming. And she was actually, she appeared in blackface on the cover of one of her albums because she feels a connection to black men. This is what Joni Mitchell said. When I see black men sitting, I have a tendency to go, like I nod, like I'm a brother. I really feel an affinity because I have experienced being a black guy on several occasions. No, it was her art, wasn't her alter ego. It was her alt Negro. That's what that was, an alter Negro. Look at this. I don't even listen to the damn music, so I ain't gonna even give them more time. That nose too thin to be a brother. Okay. Yeah, we know what the connection was. She gave her baby up for adoption, so I wonder if the baby is black. The daughter was black that she had. Well, anyway, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the topic. But we're gonna move on to something else. I was gonna save this for last. Maybe should I save it for last? I don't know if Nicole was on the channel. Shout out, as I said, to Nicole, because I was watching. I was doing a live stream Thursday with Sean, so that's how it started. And I have Nicole and Holly versus Holly up here for a reason, because our sister Nicole was going back and forth with Mr. hanging with Mr. Cooper star, our co-star Holly Robinson Peete. Of course, she is the wife of former football player Rodney Peete, and also the daughter of Mr. Robinson, who actually was the character Roosevelt Franklin on Sesame Street. Now, Nicole had made a remark that she was not going to watch the hit piece on Bill Cosby. She said she would not watch it. And she said she wouldn't watch it, to which Miss Peete commented on it. Now, she commented, and then Holly Robinson responded. She said she won't watch. Some folks just won't see the truth. My dad wrote for picture pages and Cosby Show. I heard these stories for years. Thank you for your courage, Carmel Bell, referring to Carmel Bell. And Nicole, of course, responded. She says, really, Mrs. Peete, to think last month as I was getting over COVID, I was watching nothing but 21 Jump Street and enjoyed her as an actress. No, Mrs. Peete, I will not promote a hate piece filled with out of context lies. Everyone heard is proof of nothing. Shame on you, Holly, shaking my head. And they go back and forth because Mrs. Peete got exposed for her IG post that she had here, and she's praising Bill Cosby in this piece. So she's saying, "Thank you, Mr. Cosby. Bill, thank you so much. Our family will always cherish you." This was October of 2013. And I actually got to comment with Miss Peete back and forth. You guys can see right there. Listen, what y'all not gonna do is use me as some kind of scapegoat for your cause. My late dad told me many things that concerned him. He did employ him as a writer as a writer. My father had Parkinson's disease, and of course, I was grateful. Then came 2014, to which Nicole responded, and Nicole was not gonna hold back. Then why respond to my tweet of that if that is the case? You publicly put this out here, not me. You could have easily ignored me too. Who am I? Right? And it's still a fair question. If this man was known for all these allegations, I surely wouldn't be praising him, right? Please stop. Sis, you're someone who I responded to because I feel compelled to respond. It's a very charging personally painful, emotional situation for me and a lot of others whose family legacies are tied to his. We can surely respectfully disagree with each other. It's very disappointing that y'all threw this man under the bus who opened so many doors for our people in that industry. I highly doubt that y'all don't bother to read the court docs, watch his appeal hearing, just went along with the narrative. That's really heartbreaking. Now, I actually responded to Miss Pete's tweet that you could see here. And Kaya Soto responded. All these people responded. Shout out to Jaleel. But yet you're helping these demonic devils and bootlicks with their agenda and their cause. You chose to respond to her. We didn't force you. See, brother was going hard. And I follow Holly Robinson Pete. She's actually retweeted some of my tweets that I've had. She actually tweeted some of the things that I had in the past before. And, she seemed like a sweet lady, but I can't rock with her on this. I'm trying to see because I did respond. Hold on a second, guys. I'm sorry. I want to show you all the tweet that I had. So hold up. Here we are here. Of course, I responded and said, I'm just here to eat the popcorn. And let's see. So here we are. So yeah. So I was looking for it. How much y'all want to bet Mrs. Pete defended Mr. Johnny Depp when he was accused of being a wife beater? I'm not saying he is one because I don't know, but I'm just trying to see something. Did she hear anything about that? Just those Hallmark movie checks must have dried up. So she got oh Lord. Man. So what I did, okay, so I responded. Because she was responding to a tweet that I had. And some people were going off. Then why? And she says, there's clearly a timeline about the seriousness of the allegations. I had heard about chronic infidelity. I had not heard about drugging, which he admitted. My daddy passed a while before that. Kind of glad he didn't see it because he knew some of these women personally. And I responded, I said, well, that would still not be admissible in court, Mrs. P. That's hearsay, and contrary to popular opinion, he did not admit to drugging women in the full context that I read in the deposition. And I said, I asked Judge Joe Brown. She says, I know some of the women who well, and I believe them, so we're going to agree to disagree. Good night. Well, and I respond, well, I'm a lawyer who must look at the evidence, not just what someone says. God bless, Mrs. P. Now, I kept it classy. because I didn't want to go. I kept it classy with it. I didn't argue back and forth because you're not going to be able to argue with people and get your point across back and forth. But yeah, but Nicole is something else. But here's the problem with Mrs. Pete, with Joseph C. Phillips, your even I gotta throw Godfrey in. I gotta throw Michael John White, man. I mean, geez, he went way off. All of these people who worked for Bill Cosby, even the man who worked as the black stuntman, Calvin, who was in that documentary. I had a Facebook friend, Miss Naughty Robinson, who's the big girl who was doing the documentary on the black stuntman because her grandfather was one of the black stuntmen. And she actually has on her Facebook page how proud she was being a part of this documentary. And she interviews Bill Cosby. Here's the allegations and says, and I'm going to do a review of the film. But I even asked her, she didn't respond. I asked her about the documentary she was in because she said she was proud of it. I said, well, is there someone from the other side who is going to be in the film? Because it seems from looking at the trailer, it doesn't look like it will be objective. It looks like it's one-sided, and it is. Now, I told y'all that when I was here Thursday, that show flopped. The first night, it only had 166,000 views. It flopped. And if you look at Mrs. Pete, and I know she didn't look at the court docs, if you had read it, if you had read the deposition, you would know, number one, Bill Cosby didn't just do one deposition. He did 3 on 3 different dates. He was asked the same question about drugging. He was asked that question multiple times. And every time he was asked if he gave women drugs, that's not the same as drugging. When you say drugged, that's like slipping a Mickey. That is what drugging a person is. Versus I supplied it. Versus I gave it to him. They ignore the fact, even when I looked at the so-called documentary and these women were talking, they even admitted they voluntarily took whatever pills he was giving them. He didn't hold a gun to your head and say, you take this bitch or else. They went there to advance. Some of them even talked about it. I listened to one lady. I'm going to do a review on it. My computer has been in the shop, so I got to actually go out and get that. But they talked about it, and it was clear that she wanted a music career. And he went back twice, even after the first incident, after the first time he hit on her. And she talked about what he admitted to. Did you even, if you read the deposition, you'd also read, and in there where he talked about her, Miss Constant, jerking him off. He admitted, he talks about that in it, but we ignore that. Chris Spencer, you had Chris Spencer, you had Godfrey, you had Michael J. White, Joseph C. Phillips, Dougie Doug. The only person that said something positive in that film, close to it, was Dougie Doug. The show was a whole fucking flop. Yeah, it's critically praised and so forth, but if you get 166,000 views on a Sunday night, you finished 149. The next video episode is dropping tonight. They are doing this all during Black History Month by you, and that is not a coincidence. And Holly Robinson Pete is praising this garbage. Your father, I have to say this, Miss Pete, with all due respect, your father Mr. Matt Robinson is her father. This is Holly Robinson Pete's daddy. He didn't die. He died in 2002, not 2000. And she said, did she say 2004 when he passed? Maybe she made a mistake. No, I apologize. Okay. So she knew her father had passed many years ago. So he passed away in 2002 from Parkinson's disease. And Miss Pete, I want to share this with y'all. Since we're talking about Black history, her father, who played the character, had the character Roosevelt Franklin. He was the voice of that character. Roosevelt Franklin was Mr. Robinson was a well-dressed character. I think he was the only Black puppeteer on Sesame Street at the time. There was a movement to take his character off the air because he was positive. The character was phased out of the show. Jane O'Connor, the sole African-American woman in early Sesame Street planning discussions, perceived Roosevelt Franklin to be causing white children to believe in stereotypical view of African Americans. Franklin was an intelligent boy who often spoke in rhyme or scat. Now, he played the original Gordon. Holly Robinson's dad. And he was also a member of Omega Psi Phi. He was the president of the chapter of Penn State. Now, we know that, if you know, Bill Cosby is Omega Psi Phi. Bill Cosby, Steve Harvey. Yeah, that's my fraternity. Steve McNair, Shaq, Ray Lewis. All of those guys are part of the same fraternity. Now, he was a producer and writer for The Cosby Show. He acted in one episode called Cliff's Nightmare as a French scientist. He has also worked on picture pages. He worked on Captain Kangaroo. He even wrote episodes for Sanford and Son and the Walton. So this man was around in Hollywood. Now, I'm bringing all of this up because, ma'am, if in the 1960s and 70s, when your father was on Sesame Street, and I know back then, the late 60s, even though I wasn't a kid, how racist it was back then and unseen it was for Black Americans to be on television. You think that Bill Cosby was capable, you believe the women, but you believe that in that time, Bill Cosby was capable of sexually assaulting in 1964, 65, several white women at that point. And they were afraid to tell the police. When interracial relationships were still illegal, and if not illegal after the Loving versus Virginia decision in 1967, it was still considered taboo. This is all calculated. Absolutely, Jaleel. And let's be clear, there were multiple incidents where Bill Cosby and Andrea Constand interacted with each other, even after the alleged incident occurred. See, I deal with stuff called evidence. She admitted she wasn't, when she gives a date, and you got to be careful when these women give dates. Well, I was drugged on this date. This happened to me on this date. I was here. Well, let's look at the flight records. Bill Cosby is not in Philadelphia at the time you said this, Miss Constant. Well, it had to be this date. Well, ma'am, if you look here, it says these are your phone records. It shows you were on the phone for 4 hours on this date. You recall that? Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, sir, ma'am, I do. So you weren't drugged that day. See, all of that came out. and Holly Robinson Pete and these others, Marsha Warfield, there's a whole list. Marsha Warfield came out, Janet Hubert came out and attacked not Camille, Felicia Rashad. And low-key, that docuseries was also dissing Camille as well. I really wish Camille, and I've heard her speak, but I wish Camille and his daughters, his kid, they ought to just go off. If your father can't say something, you can. I would go off. Look what John Wayne's son is on CNN defending his father for his racist bullshit. The comments he made back in Playboy magazine when he talked about how he believed in white supremacy. And it's my grandfather that loved John Wayne and Clint Eastwood, the Duke. Clint wasn't the Duke. John Wayne was the Duke. My grandfather loved Westerns. No, Holly didn't forget she had a black. Yeah, all of these people that he helped your father. Joseph C. Phillips. You mean outside the Cosby Show? I don't know anything Joseph C. Phillips has been in. I believe the women. Won't name the names, and that's another thing. If you're going to do this, well, I heard from my friend, I spoke to her, and I believe her, and as a result, I believe all women. Well, if you don't name the friend, if you don't say who they are, then guess what? We're not gonna throw them in the mix. You either come forward, say what you got to say, explain, bring some evidence. We can go somewhere. That's the way it goes. But, Nicole, she didn't back down from this at all. Nicole never backs down from a challenge. Now I'm looking here, they're saying Dolores Robinson, so this is Holly Robinson's mother, said that Roosevelt Franklin became a televised vehicle for her then husband's anger at racism and pride in black people. And from what they're saying, that the reason why it was pulled was because there was a negative perception of the character among African Americans. But here, Robinson worked closely with Jim Henson to accurately design the character, the first black influenced Muppet. And Roosevelt Franklin promoted ideals such as family pride, respect, and geography, and while also showing a passion for rhyming and blues music. So yeah, and I was a huge fan because she seemed sweet. I really am disappointed in seeing Miss Pete go down. A man that helped your father, and you believe these women based on and have no evidence. To call someone, even Willie D said this, because Willie D was on that, he thought, Bill Cosby is guilty, but he was thinking that because of the way Bill Cosby had acted. Bill Cosby had acted, and that's either one of those things. Yeah, we did. I'm just disappointed in it, but I don't know. In order to get browning points, you got to throw another black man under the bus in Hollywood. That's just the way it is. You got to say something negative. You got to attack Bill Cosby, he's low-hanging fruit. So that's the way we are. So my last topic, and I'm gonna be brief with this one. You had this man, brother, who was talking about the Brian Flores lawsuit. And so I made sure I wanted to like this page, and I'm gonna play the video. So you have, if anyone's ever heard of a man by the name of, you've probably seen, if you've watched Fox Sports, you know this guy's brother. Nope, that's not it. Trying to find the video, but this, you know, Samuel Acho, well, he has a brother. And okay, Sam Acho. And this is what he had to say concerning Brian Flores.
Please listen to this.
Well, here's a couple of concrete examples. Somebody texted me yesterday, a player, current player in the NFL, high, caliber, whatever you want to call it, player, says, "Man, what can I do to support Brian Flores? Or what can I do?" And a couple of things I told him, I said, "You can speak out, use your voice. You are trusted. People trust you. You are respected. So speak out, support Brian Flores, right? You have a relationship with him. That's number one. But number two, it's more than just about Brian Flores. You have to use your relationships to make a change. So, for example, I'm close with George McCaskey. He's the chairman of the Chicago Bears. I played for the Bears the majority of my career. And one thing I saw is this social injustice, racial injustice, systemic racism conversation has been happening over the last couple of years. I said, okay, I can't just change this dude's mind. Sometimes people need their hearts changed. Sometimes people are oblivious to the prejudice that they have. And that's on both sides, right? That's black and that's white. So what we did is we took a journey together. We decided to go on a police ride along on the south side of Chicago to see what police go through firsthand. South side, Chicago, right? We did that. But then we also decided to go to a prison in Louisiana, actually. Went to a prison and in Chicago, went to two prisons just to see what it's like for someone who is incarcerated, to open up our eyes. We also took a journey to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, changing minds and changing hearts. That was for both of us. So some people, if you have a relationship, use that relationship and go on a journey, right?
What the fuck is he talking about?
Off of experiences.
What does this have to do with anything?
I grew from that experience as well. For others, we talked about it. It's those relationships.
But Acho, it doesn't seem like the players are the one that needs changing. They're not the ones.
But it's not. You can't just tell somebody to go and do something, right? You have to go with them, and all of a sudden, maybe their eyes will be open. And so, what I'm saying in that example, Molly, is that maybe you could say, "I didn't need to change." That could be an argument, but the other side is with this owner coming
now. Even Stephen A. Smith, if you got Stephen A. Smith with his head hanging down, with his, man, that line has gone all the way back. Even Stephen A. Smith's lining is depressed. Stephen A. is depressed. Listening to this Negro. Oh my God. Look, what does this have to do with the lawsuit?
Or what can I do? And a couple of things I told him, I said, you can speak out, use your voice. You are trusted.
Nothing wrong with that.
You are respected. So speak out, support Brian Flores, right? You have a relationship with him. That's number one. But number two, it's more than just about Brian Flores. You have to use your relationships to make a change. So, for example, I'm close with George McCaskey. He's the chairman of the Chicago Bears. I played for the Bears the majority of my career. And one thing I saw is this social injustice, racial injustice, systemic racism conversation has been happening over the last couple of years. And I said, okay, I can't just change this dude's mind. Sometimes people need their hearts changed. Sometimes people are oblivious to the prejudice that they have. And that's on both sides, right? That's black and that's white. So what we did is we took a journey together. We decided to go on a police ride along on the south side of Chicago to see what police go through firsthand. South side, Chicago, right? We did that. But then we also decided to go to a prison in Louisiana, actually. Went to a prison and in Chicago. Went to two prisons just to see what it's like for someone who is incarcerated, to open up our eyes. We also took a journey to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, changing minds and changing hearts. That was for both of us. So some people, if you have a relationship, use that relationship and go on a journey, right?
What the
Oftentimes people
fuck
change
is he talking
based
about?
off of experiences.
What does this have to
And
do
I
with
changed,
anything?
and I grew from that experience as well. For others, we talked about it. It's those relationships.
But Acho, it doesn't seem like the players are the one that needs changing. They're not the ones.
Look, Stephen, but it's not. You can't just tell somebody to go and do something, right? You have to go with them, and all of a sudden, maybe their eyes will be open. And so, what I'm saying in that example, Molly, is that maybe you could say,
Stephen
"I
A.
didn't
is so
need to
sick of
grow,
this
or I
nigga,
didn't
bro.
need to change." That could be an argument, but the other side is with this owner coming.
Now, if Molly Curran has got to correct you, you know you've messed up. This fool had no idea what he was talking about. I have no idea what he was talking about. Now, this is Emmanuel Echo's brother. He's like saying the sky is blue, but it's got to be green too. I mean, my God, the level of coon. You see why so many of us, especially lately, aren't caping that hard for non-FBA or immigrants. And in a relationship, yes, these people are black in skin. However, they have a disdain for the African American or Black American community. They look down on it. And I know how it was like, because even when I was in school at Southern, we had African teachers who would point their nose and their finger down on black people. I mean, we got people complaining about Bill Cosby pointing his finger at the black community. And my goodness, these people come over here sounding like Larry Elder. The Dyson School of Babel. The sky is blue, but for the eloquence of the female, the black female who has been in the robe been disrobed for hundreds of years, has to be elevated and equitated into a new robe. That is the affidavit of the eloquence of the black woman. Yeah, and you know, there's a reason why a lot of people don't watch the NFL. Now, what did he mention in those 2 minutes about the lawsuit concerning Brian Flores? Exactly what has that had to do with anything? And did you look underneath the ticker when they said how should NFL players respond? Just look at this. Hold on. Let's go back to the screen. You see that all 5 head coaching positions have been filled so far, and there are 4 remaining. Now look how all of the coaches are white. The Miami Dolphins just hired Mike McDaniel. He was the offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. He was the interim head coach for the Broncos back in 2005. Now look at that. He's saying all of this stuff, and there are all the NFL head coaching hires have been like, man, get the fuck. And they use Negroes like this on ESPN to say that, and you put Stephen A. Smith to shame. You have sunk into a whole new low. My gosh. Well, I wasn't gonna do this long live stream, guys. So you all be safe and be blessed. I don't know if we have anything else, but the review on my book is coming out soon. I'm actually doing some final edits with that. The other update we have, I have my computer back, so I'll have a trailer dropping for our new podcast that'll be coming out soon. So you'll be sure to see that. In the meantime, please go ahead, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'd ask for you all to donate to the Cash App that you see at the bottom. If you give me a little birthday love for tomorrow, that would be appreciated. So Cash App, Gavin Richard, Esquire, or PayPal at GavinRich1@gmail.com. You go to @CommonwealthCause to get updates on our book. NorniesCreolesBlends.com. That is actually the website for our Creole seasoning blends. Fried on chicken, meat or fish. Nornies goes great with every dish. So you go ahead and check that out. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you, Vulcan. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Yes, but for those that haven't gotten their seasoning, go ahead and check it out. It is Bomb's Burgers, as Tariq Nasheed said. What plans do y'all have tonight? Whatever you're going to do, be safe. Appreciate it. We also have, of course, I tell you all to get the songs. Got to get on up and Video Soul, which is available on Apple, iTunes, and Amazon. Now, there was reason why I didn't play the G-Rich, get on up to Spotify, just because of the shit that is going on. Because when I think about it, as an artist, we do streaming. There's a difference between streaming and sales. And my understanding of it is that every time a song is streamed, yes, you get paid for it, but artists do not get a full bulk of their money because the music industry has changed, number one, from what it was 50 years ago, 60 years ago, due to the internet. And while it does give you exposure, you're not making what you actually could be making just by having streams. And what NDRE and others are really what she's complaining about is the bag, and that's why I didn't put it through there. So I decided to just do it through Apple and iTunes if you have not purchased it. So I appreciate it if you would do that. So you check out Video Soul and to check out Got to Get On Up, and also check out our Patreon. So review on the Camu Bell hit piece is coming soon. And I will be back this Tuesday. I might do a special live stream tomorrow for my birthday after work. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Okay, guys. I'll holla. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.